Hi there. Uh, a very good afternoon, everyone. Um, and Kuzu Zangpo. This is basically a Bhutanese language. Kuzu Zangpo and greetings is nothing but a greetings to everyone. Uh, I thank you all for joining this webinar, and I thank each one of you for showing your interest in listening to me. And I feel honored and I feel privileged on this matter. So thank you, all the participants and who are interested uh, in listening to my talk today. So I hope I'll do justice, and I hope I'll be able to spread some little bit of happiness to you all. But before I begin to talk about my presentation today, I would like to take this opportunity to briefly introduce myself, and also I think I would like to take this opportunity to thank the law librarian Ashlyn and her team, Robert, Taylor, Barberas, the entire great team of Law Library of Congress for their unwavering support and hospitality, and this wonderful opportunity for me to present about the topic today and being here in the LOC. So this was such a wonderful opportunity for me. And to introduce myself, I am Ugyen Thinley, and currently I'm working as a Director for Library Resources and Services with Jigme Singye Wangchuck School of Law. We call it JSW School of Law back in Bhutan. And JSW School of Law is the first law school in the country and only law school in the country. And we are fairly very new. It's not even a decade since we started. So I'm one of the founding member of the law school, primarily responsible for setting up the law library for the law school and also to teach some skill courses. So it has been a great opportunity for me to learn and to set up the law library in the country. I hope I'm audible to everyone and clear to everyone. So I'll run through my presentation on the law and happiness, and if I talk about a little bit about the overview of my presentation today, I'll talk a little bit about Bhutan. I'll talk a little bit about the JSW School of Law, and I'll touch upon the legal history, legal system in Bhutan, and I'll also talk about the gross national happiness in the law and a little bit of Bhutanese legal resources. This is a very vast topic in each, if we really go in depth. And basically, when I talk about the legal history and legal system in Bhutan, I'll be even touching on the GNH and law simultaneously together. So please bear with me for that. Now, as I said, let me quickly run through about Bhutan. I know Bhutan, many of the people in this part of the world, they are not aware of Bhutan as much as we do ourselves anyways. But I hope I'll take this opportunity to give a brief overview on Bhutan to the audience today. So if I may give a talk about Bhutan at a glance, I think Bhutan is located in Southeast Asia. We have China in the north, and then we have India in the south. So we are landlocked between these two giant countries of Southeast Asia. So our area is basically 38.39 square kilometer, and our population is like less than 0.8 million. So we are not even 1 million of population. And the major religion that we follow is Mahayana Buddhism. And then we have a constitutional monarchy. We adopted very recently in the year 2008. So before that, we have a monarchy. So now let me also take this few things about some interesting facts about Bhutan. Bhutan is the world's only carbon negative country. We are not only carbon neutral, but also negative. So yeah, I think we have lots of policies related on how we can achieve that. So until 1970s, it was isolated from the rest of the world, Bhutan, and then for very interestingly, Bhutan, we have no traffic lights in our country, and the king abdicated the throne for the sake of democracy. Usually in other parts of the world, it's people who always wanted democracy, but in our kingdom, it's the king who basically uh, what to say established the democracy in the country. And Bhutan was the last country in the world to introduce television in the year 1999. So we were never what to say open to the Western world that long time back. So it's just very new to all of us. So all citizens have access to free education and healthcare. So these are some facts that I thought it's interesting for people to know before I begin into the talk. So that way you have a little bit of background about how Bhutan basically looks like generally. Now I would like to briefly talk about the JSW School of Law. So JSW School of Law, and why JSW School of Law? Bhutan, as I said, we have a constitutional monarchy where we also have king and of course we have democracy. So it was His Majesty's vision. One of the greatest responsibility that lies ahead is to establish a law institute and research center that will enhance our tasks and further strengthens our legal system. So that was his vision that His Majesty had, I think, because we never had a law school till then. So upon that vision, His Majesty has basically commanded his sister, Her Royal Highness Princess Sonam Dichin Wangchuck, to start a Bhutanese law school in the country. And Her Royal Highness the Princess Sonam Dichin Wangchuck is the founding president, and she's also the Harvard graduate, Harvard Law School graduate. So that's why. I think His Majesty entrusted her with this big responsibility of establishing law school in the country. Now, when establishing the law school, I think considering the fact the law school was established under the Royal Charter issued by His Majesty the King of Bhutan, and we are independent small university. That's what I can say, the JSW School of Law. So when establishing the law school, I think keeping in mind the vision of His Majesty the King and Her Royal Highness the Princess, the law school sets a vision like any other law schools around the world. So these were the visions that the law school was trying to achieve, basically to keep in line with the nation, the goal of the nation, and the vision of His Majesty the King. So I hope you all can read through. I just don't want to read this, so just to show you all. And these are the visions that the law school has set up for the people and for the law school. Now, the main objective of the law school was is to basically school shall be to provide the legal education, facilitate research in law and related fields, and promote cultural enrichment and traditional values. So that is one of the key objective of the law schools that we have set it up. And if you see the pictorial, this is our students in a moot courtroom in the law school where student was trying to have the moot session when the moot was in session. So, and the name of the law school, we call it JSW. It's the name of His Majesty the King, the fourth King of Bhutan, Jigme Singye Wangchuck, and we named JSW law behind His Majesty King because it gives an inspiration, as said, because we consider His Majesty the King as JSW also reflects the core qualities of His Majesty the Fourth King, because if you talk about it, J stands for justice, and then we have S for service, and then wisdom. So these are the core qualities of His Majesty the Fourth King of Bhutan. So that is where that is the reason why we have named the law school behind him. So this is the organizational structure of the law school, how it looks like for your just sharing for your understanding. We have the Honorable President as the head of the law school, and We have the governing council, and the governing council is chaired by the Chief Justice of Bhutan. And then we have other members from all parts of the other, like Royal University of Bhutan, Royal Civil Service Commission of Bhutan, and then some other appointees appointed by His Majesty the King or the Royal Charter, actually. Then under the governing council, we have Dean, and then the other related branches and departments under him. So this is the few pictures that I would like to share with the audience here today. This is how the law school looks like. This picture is taken just last year during the consecration ceremony of the law school's permanent campus. We are in Bhutan, located in Paro, a little bit away from the city. So this is how and the two persons standing there with the yellow scarves is the present king and the fourth king. So we are honored to have them for the consecration ceremony. So, and this is the first cohort of the law school, the homegrown lawyers taking oath of allegiance after once they are done with their course and during the graduation program. So, and this is the second cohort again. We only so far we could two cohort has basically graduated from the law school and they are in the market. So. And this is how our campus looks like back home in Bhutan, the law school. So we are located very much on the mountains, and we are very colorful in that ways, I would say that. Now, not only the pictures now, let me just talk a little bit about the academic programs and courses that the law school offers. Just to give you a little bit of structure on how the academic department looks like. The academic department is chaired by the vice dean of the academic affairs, and under him we have all those academic divisions under him. So even the library is under the academic dean. So now JSW's law curriculum and research is it focuses on the excellence in legal education and research, and like any other law schools around the world. So this is how it looks like. And the programs and the service that we basically offers, we offer LLB, PGDNL courses. It's an undergrads program, and PGDNL is that in Bhutan, till we started the law school, all the lawyers that we have in Bhutan were all educated out of Bhutan. So they study the foreign laws. So they don't study the Bhutanese laws. But once they complete their law undergrads from any parts of the world and returns to Bhutan, they have to undergo through a postgraduate diploma in national law for 1 year. So so we offer that postgraduate diploma in national law for the law students who graduated from in and around the other countries besides Bhutan. So for the current one, we offer LLB and PGDNL, which is integrated with this program together. We also host special summer school programs, and then from 2025, we'll be starting LLM program, which will be very interesting. We are going to start the climate change and environmental law LLM programs. So we also do short-term trainings, continuing legal educations and all. And then we also do consultant services. We are fairly new, but we are trying our best to achieve quite a lot. Now let me get back to the point of the legal history, the legal system in Bhutan. I just want to give you a note that there is no literature written about Bhutan legal history until recently, with very few publications on it. If you look back, Buddhism has played a key role. Our religion, Buddhism, has played a key role in shaping the lives of the people, the history, the government, culture, economy, and judiciary in Bhutan as a whole. So, and if you really look into the history of Buddhism, Buddhism basically took firm root in Bhutan in 7th to 8th century from the visit of a great Buddhist master who is known as Guru Rinpoche, a great Buddhist master. So it was way back in 7th and 8th century. But if you really look into it, however, it is the arrival of the Shabdung Nawang Namgyal in 1616, a great Tibetan master, we are one of the most dynamic area in the history of Bhutan. Basically, started upon arrival of Shabdrung Nawang Namgyel till and then he was the one who established the dual system of governance in 1626 after his 10 years of arrival in Bhutan. So he started the dual system of governance in Bhutan. So he's a spiritual leader. So this is how the dual system looks like back then in 1626 when he basically started. Shabdung as the head of the state that time, and then he has a dual system called Jekimpo, the chief abbot, who is the head of the spiritual leader, spirituals, and then we had Daisy, the head of the secular. So Shabdung established this dual system of governance way back, as I said, in 1626. And one of the defining features of the new system of governance instituted by Shabdung Rinpoche was a dual system, which is so-called, if you really look into our history, we call it Luni. Luni means it's basically two traditions. Or it also basically reflects to Chesi Ni, which is basically combinations of both religion and politics together. So if you look into the text, so that is how it has been defined by the governance of Shabdrung in 1627. So Shabdrung's dual system of government ruled from 1626 until the people of Bhutan, unanimously enthroned Sir Ugyen Wangchuck as the first hereditary king of Bhutan in 1907. So if you look into this particular photograph, the person is the first king of Bhutan, and uh, the other side on your left is the contractual agreement where people unanimously enthroned Sir Ugyen Wangchuck as the king of Bhutan. So the monarchy was not established based on the idea of divine rights of king. It was neither established through political revolution nor through external pressure. What happened was the people of Bhutan came together and drew a contract. As I said, the contract that you see at your left, the terms of the contracts was written there states that His Majesty the first King Ugyen Wangchuck and his heirs will ensure the security and sovereignty of the country Bhutan, while the people offer their trust and allegiance to him in this and his heirs. The monarchy was established on the unanimous consent of the people, and the contract contains important principle. If you really look into this contract, uh, it contains it contains the important principle of transparency, voluntariness, and consent. So that was one of the important history how Bhutan's is embarked into the political system. So if I talk a little bit on the political system in Bhutan, as I said, political history of Bhutan started in 1907 after the enthronement of His Majesty, the first king of Bhutan. So, and indeed, if you really think carefully, in Bhutan, democracy firmly took its root since then, because it was unanimously appointed, elected. So, and then in 1953, just a little bit of background history. His Majesty, the third king, established National Assembly in order to ensure more democratical governance in the country, with the primary responsibility to enact laws and discuss issues of national interest. Again, these are the bullet points that I prepared. In the year 1963, the Royal Advisory Council was established to act as a bridge or link between the king and the Council of Ministers and the people. And the decentralization was one of the key aspects because it's the decentralization process was extended by His Majesty the Fourth King in the year 1981 with the establishment of further breaking down the power down to the Dzongkha Gyalke Tsogdu, which is the district level assembly and sub-district level assembly in 1991. In the year 1998, His Majesty handed over the power to rule country. Although we had a kingdom country to the cabinet minister, so he started to serve as the head of the state then, and while the government was managed by the prime minister. So although we had the monarch, still it was managed by prime minister from 1998. So then I think His Majesty. His Majesty the King drafted the constitution in 2001, and finally the constitution of Bhutan was signed in a historic and secret ceremony on in 18th July 2008. So 2008 was Bhutan's major change of governance from complete monarchy to the constitutional monarchy, as per the constitution of Bhutan states the Article 2. So therefore, the constitution is the supreme law of the nation. And for your information, the Supreme Court is the guardian of the Constitution and the final authority on its interpretation. And then it is reflected in the Constitutional Kingdom of Bhutan of 2008. Now, if I may, again, talk about a little bit of Bhutanese governance. We have His Majesty the King as the head of the state. Under him, we have three different branches, the legislative, and Bhutan has a bicameral parliamentary system. Under legislative, we have National Assembly and National Council. And we have judiciary, very independent judiciary, and then we have executive, who is the prime minister is the head of the government, and then he's also the chair of the cabinet minister. Um, so Article 20 of the Constitution basically provides the executive power to the prime minister, so as the head of the government. So this is how our country's structure a little bit looks like. And now let me get back to Bhutanese legal system, how it looks like. It is said that the legal system of Bhutan is based on English common law, but from my opinion, as I get to explore more, I feel it's a mixed legal system. Although I'm not a law educated background, but through my own experience working for decades in the legal sector, I feel Bhutan's law are influenced with the customer legal system, customary legal system, religious legal system, civil legal system, and common legal system. I say this because a simple justification that if I may give is a sitting judge basically, in the court can go in the field for case investigation and case study. Although if you really look into the common legal system practice, a judge has to decide the case based on the evidential documents presented before the judge. So that's why, like in Bhutan, where judge can also go to a case investigation. And I also say customary legal system as the major religion of Bhutan is Buddhism, and Buddhism has a key role in informing and practice of legal system. For example, in Buddhism, we believe that the local deities, resides in the trees, mountains, caves, and big rocks, which is still practiced even today, irrespective of whatever age you are. So the people in that believe that destroying such homes of local deities will have repercussion to the extent of losing our own lives. So that's how we believe. So this has basically indirectly promoted in preservation of environment also. And the practice of alternative dispute resolution is heavily practiced even today in our country. The elders, if you go to all corners of the country, we call them Goshing Inche, an elder person who basically can understand and can basically help in resolving the disputes in the community, where the lead ones in mediating the disputes within the community. So the community trusts them. Those people were respected elders. So although the elders do not have a legal background, they were able to understand the community better than anyone. So those days before the enactment of Bhutan Penal Code or the criminal or the Civil Procedure Act, they trusted the elders in the community in mediating the even the criminal cases then, back then, like a small fights or a small theft besides the civil dispute. So if you really look into so I say we have this customary law that also has influence in this. Not only that, if you really look into this modern way of legal system also, the judiciary of Bhutan has established the court annex mediation in all the courts, especially the district and sub-district courts officially, giving free service to the parties. if they are interested in mediating their civil cases, not the criminal cases, of course, now. So that clearly shows that we still value our customary laws. So considering all this nature of how we handle, so I feel that it is also a mixture of mixed legal system that we practice. Now, let me talk about this. When I talk about system, let me talk about a judiciary a little. The Bhutanese legal system has four-tier court system. If we The Supreme Court is the highest court of law in the Bhutan, and it is presided by the Chief Justice of Bhutan. So His Majesty the King appoints the Chief Justice of Bhutan for a period of 5 years from among the judges or justices of the Royal Court of Justice, of the Supreme Court, or from among the eminent jurist. So the Chief Justice appoints 5 years of or what to say judges appointed to a period of 10 years for the High Court and the Supreme Court under the recommendation of National Judicial Commission, as per our constitution article. So, and the Supreme Court is the court of record, and it is the guardian of the constitution and the final authority on its interpretation. And we have then the High Court is made up of three branches. A minimum of two judges comprises in each bench. This is also a court of appellate. And then we have Wangchuck, which we call the district court, exercises original jurisdiction in all cases within its territorial jurisdiction, and hears uh, appeals from the sub district courts. Such courts basically are presided over by the district judges, so who is assisted by one or more sub judges or the deputy judge. So we have this entire court system, and the Dungkak. If the Dungkak is basically a sub district court, and that is the lowest or the lowest of formal court in Bhutan. So this is how the court system functions, looks like. And now let me also touch this on a little bit about the parliament. Article 10 of the Bhutanese Constitution 2008 provides a bicameral parliamentary system, which when we talk about parliament system, it also consists of His Majesty, the King of Bhutan. As I said, we have constitutional monarchy. And then we have National Council, which we consider as the upper house. And then we have National Assembly as the lower house. And they have the legislative power under this constitution. So now the forms of legislation that we have in the country, we have the constitution as the mother of all law, and then we have international conventions, acts, treaties, protocols, and agreements. And then we also have subordinate legislations like the executive orders, the rules and regulations, circulations, and notifications. So these are the forms of legislation that we have. And let me take this opportunity also how this legislative process works relating to the bill. We have forms and the members must sign in the introducing bill and must submit a copy to National Assembly Secretariat along with the statement of objects and reasons and memorandums regarding the delegated legislations and financial memorandums. And then it goes on the bills. If the bills basically originated from the National Assembly, then forms a notice of bills, and then it's presented, and then the first reading is done at the House, and then it goes to the different or the relevant committees because Parliament has several committees in place, and then the committees will review and go with the thorough discussions and consultations, research and review, and then it goes back to the House for second reading, and then with the recommendations and all these things from the House. Then the printings of the bills basically starts, and then it gets distributed to the members for further review and then further discussions. Then it is again tabled back in the House for third reading. So once they are done with the third reading, the bill basically gets passed, and then if people agree, then it goes back and forth between the two houses, and if the members they don't agree, then they sit for a joint sitting, and then once they are done with the bill going forth from between two houses, once they are done with the joint sitting, then the bills goes to His Majesty for the assent of the bill, and then it comes as an law of the Parliament. So this is how the legislative process basically works in Bhutan. So let me again take you all back to the legal history again a little bit. As we have been talking about Shabdung, the one who basically our history can be tracked only back from the Shabdung's time. So let me talk about Shabdung's law again. Shabdung Rinpoche was the founder of Bhutanese state. To secure and protect sovereignty, he not only basically unified the state, Bhutan, but also created a distinct identity, unique and different from neighboring polities. He purposefully created what to say, Drukpa. So Drukpa is nothing but people of Bhutan. Because Bhutan is also known as Drukyul, the land. Druk is nothing but a land of thunder dragon. So the people of Bhutan also known as Drukpa. So his Shabdrung basically started the laws by drawing boundaries, unifying and winning their trust and confidence. It might not have been lost on Shabdung also to ensure legal sovereignty by drafting and educating a set of our own laws. So it was basically how he started, how the law he started was the one of the most important Buddhist law he basically promulgated was from a Buddhist law was Gyewa Chu and Miche Tsangma Chudu. These are the two main important sources that he basically drafted. So if I may just run through this very important law during the time of Shabdung in 1629. These are the 10 poyos where he was basically reflecting when drafting a laws, so like refraining from taking lives, refraining from taking that which is not given, refraining from engaging in sexual misconduct, refraining from lying. So these are basically the 10 poyos he was basically talking about Shabdung. So this is the laws, and then which is known as now the 16 poyos acts of social piety, which is called as Miche Tsangma Chudu, where Shabdrung was completely these are the sets of laws that Shabdung basically reflected on it. So I want I won't read through individually. So these are just a set, and I will make sure that you all get if you're interested, you can get hold of the LOC team here to get a copy so that you can get through these laws by Shabdung in detail later on if you're interested. Now, I also want to quote the words of our president, Her Royal Highness Princess Sonam Dechin Wangchuck. Shabdung's Katrim. Shabdung's Katrim is nothing but Shabdung's law or the adit. It's a unique set of laws that laid the base organization and ideological principles for law for a society. It gave a strong foundation for development of modern Bhutanese legal system and codification of law. The Katrim, which is based on the concept of happiness and the rule of law, is one of the Shabdung's most significant legacy. So with this statement from Her Royal Highness, it clearly states that the foundations for development of the modern law derived from Shabdung's law. The Shabdung's law is a basis on the concept of happiness. So that is what it clearly states, that it's the concept where the happiness came into. And let me take back you all to the history again on the supreme law of the state, the Trimjung Chemo. The actual and formal codification of law took place during the region of His Majesty, the third king of Bhutan. Currently, we have fifth king. It took place during the region of the third king. The drafting of the law started in 1950, and in 1953, in the first parliament, the bill was put to discussion in the first session of National Assembly, which was held in one of the places in Bhutan, Punakazong. And it ultimately accumulated in the 7th chapter, Timjung Chemo Supreme as a supreme law. In 1959, during the 12th session of National Assembly, the law Trimjung Chemo. Trimjung Chemo is nothing but the supreme law. So that was passed in 1959 during the 12th session. The Trimjung Chemo, basically, the supreme law contains provision relating to cheating and undue influence in the trade and commerce, the court procedures, and several penal provisions. And then, without external influence and legal transplanting, the legislator came up with their own homegrown provisions, of the laws. So it became since then an important source for Bhutanese law, uh, although many of these chapters have been amended by subsequent legislation. The Supreme Law, the Trimjung Chemo, is considered to be the basis for all the subsequent laws enacted in Bhutan thereafter. So many of these provision was later on being incorporated in the new constitution of Bhutan that was established in 2008 when His Majesty introduced democracy in the country. Now let me talk a little bit about gross national happiness and law. For your information, as I said, there is no law as such called, okay, this is GNH law. It's a gross national happiness law, or there's no written law that basically says this is GNH law. But if you really look into it deep down, I think the origin of the laws were mostly from the Buddhist concept, and the Buddhist concept was all about happiness. And if you really also look into Shabdung's legal code of Bhutanese legal code of Shabdung, it clearly states the purpose of the government is to provide happiness to its people. So if we cannot provide happiness, so there is no reason for government to exist, That is what it says. So this enrichment of happiness is a policy goal, can be tracked back to Bhutan's history of Shabdung. And if you really look into it, the scholars of different disciplines have recognized happiness as the ultimate human goal. However, while happiness found its place in the constitution of many nations, its value is contested. I would say that on the policy level, in most of the nations, economy or the material well-being of the individual have taken precedence because of the ease in its measurement. And again, if you really look into it, very recently, the UN General Assembly has adopted a resolution at least recognizing happiness as one of the fundamental human goal, if not the only human goal. However, in Bhutan, happiness of the people and all sentient beings were recognized as the ultimate purpose of the government since it is inception in the 17th century, as I said, during the Shabdung. And as Her Royal Highness, the president of the law school, Princess Sonam Dichin Wangchuck said, His Majesty, the fourth king, promulgated a profound framework of gross national happiness to institutionalize the implementations of happiness as a state policy objective, making clear that the purpose of the modern government, law and policy must be to create the conditions that promotes the happiness of the society and our people. So similarly, again, the current king, His Majesty the King, Jigme Wangchuck, also highlighted the significance of recognizing happiness as the policy objective. So he said that the placing of happiness in the developmental or policy objective conversation is that it helps us remind the ultimate, this is a world for people, for families, for communities and all. So all human beings seek the same things. Ultimately, we all seek happiness. So this sense of shared planet and a shared faith for this who worked onto this common quest of happiness can provide the answer to nation and global problems. So therefore, His Majesty the King reasserted that the duty of Bhutanese state is to ensure that this inevitable elements contributing towards the happiness and well-being of our people are protected and strengthened, and that our government must be human. That's what he quoted. Therefore, the Constitution of Bhutan, which was enacted in 2008, made the gross national happiness index as the government's goal. So this has basically helped how we have achieved the constitution in Bhutan. So I mean, the happiness in Bhutan. Now, when I talk about gross national happiness, I know people must be really curious, and this GNH is a very vast topic that we can really talk about, and then we can really drive into a lot. But with considering the time that we have, I have to limit it at a very base level. So law in general, if you really analyze it, it is basically promoted. It promotes, and it's of course the source of happiness. And if we may share a few, what to say, highlights in a later on, I'll do that. But let me just highlight a little bit on gross national happiness. Gross national happiness is the nation's vision and nationals the overall goals that we all strive to achieve. And then how do we do that? Under the gross national happiness, we have four pillars. Like the sustainable and equitable socioeconomic development. As then we have the next pillar as preservation and promotion of culture, conservation of environment, and good governance. So these are the four pillars. So under these four pillars, we have 9 domains in place. So each domain has 2 or 3 indicators under each domains, so totaling up to 33 different sub indicators, and further again, if we really divide, these indicators have sub indicators totaling up to 125 small sub indicators defining the gross national, how we basically achieve this gross national happiness as a whole. So this is overall how it functions, but and how it connects with all the developmental activities that's taking place in the country. Each and every activities is very much connected to all each and every domain that we have it here. So this is how uh, gross national happiness as a general it looks like. So, as I said, the gross national happiness, from my perspective, as I said, law as a generally, it is if you really analyze it, it promotes as a source of it's a source of happiness. I think law everywhere in the world is basically not to torture anyone as an individual, but I think to promote happiness and to prevent ourselves from bad deeds. So I think even in Bhutan, I think uh, we 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 view law from that angle. So it is basically to promote happiness. So just in particularly, if I may highlight a little bit from my own opinion regarding the law that directly contributes happiness for the people of Bhutan is the Constitution of Bhutan itself, enacted in 2000. Where the GNH index was made as the government's goal. So the GNH index, if you really look into it, it's a very vast thing. Which any developmental activities taking place in Bhutan, it has to be in line how this developmental activity will achieve and contributes towards the holistic view of happiness of the people. So that is how we look into it. And then again, if you think about it, the Article 7 of the fundamental rights, under the fundamental rights, we have 19 fundamental rights listed under the fundamental rights. That basically also proves as a freedom and a source of happiness for every individual, constitutional rights where we have certain set of rights that's there, which is mandatory, the fundamentals. So that sets and lays as a boundary for our people to set how happy we can be from that angle. So as I said, gross national happiness, it's a very vast topic, and as I said, uh, it will take us a lot of time to basically discuss. And if I have time, I would love to go and dive deep in, but as you said, if you are interested to know more about it, we can always be connected, and then you can always email me. So with this, I think I will talk less on the cross-national happiness. And with my presentations today, these are the sources that I have referred for my talk for the day that I give. And these are the books that I have it here, the sources. And yeah, these are the sources, most of the sources that I've referred. So I think with this, I come to end of my presentation, and I hope I did a justice by quickly running through an overview on the entire, a little bit of history of Bhutan, a little bit of Bhutanese legal research, legal history, and a little bit of Bhutanese legal resources in general, and of course happiness, how happiness is connected with with the laws. So I hope I did fair enough, and then uh, yeah, I think now if I have time, I will leave up if you have any questions. When I read through the Q&A section, there's a very interesting questions from Shabdung's law questions. I noticed they were state in the negative, refrain from rather than positive example, like only state positive words to your neighbors. As I clearly said that it was a direct translation that we did it because it was never written from that angle. What to say in English version. So it was if you read into the original Shabdung's legal code, it says, uh, of course, it says refrain from, but here it says refrain from. But when we say refrain from means not to, not to. So I think it is completely from Buddhist perspective. We should not indulge into like the bad things or, you know. Yes, as you said, if you now really look into it, we could have done in you could have used the positive words. So I agree with what you say, but this was a direct translations made by that. So this is a very interesting question with regarding the carbon negative country. Are there specific laws in place to ensure that this continues to the future? Yes, um, there is specifically if you really look, as I said, the constitution mandates that the countries, what to say, geographical area, if you think about it, the constitution mandates that the country's geographical area of 60, minimum of 60% should be covered by forest. So that clearly states that throughout, it's already in the constitution, that clearly states that the country has a potential and must keep its area covered by forest, the 60%, but currently we have 70%. So this is how and then we also have a separate commission, environmental, what's the National Environment Commission, who helps in managing the overall, what to say, all these issues regarding the environmental protections and all these things. There's an interesting question. JSW law students stay in Bhutan. I think that depends on individual as well. So they just study in in our in JSW School of Law, and after that, it is the individual opinion of the students to whether they want to stay and work in Bhutan or to anywhere else. So that depends on individual. But as of now, for now, we have two cohorts who are already in the market, and then 99% of them are still in a country and they're working in Bhutan. So. With regard to the institution responsible for implementing the laws relevant to happiness, um, very recently, the Gross National Happiness Commission was clubbed into with the what to say, shuffling of ministries. Now, earlier we used to have a separate what to say, commission that's completely set for Gross National Happiness Commission, but now it is clubbed up with one of the ministry, and then we have a separate what to say, department who looks after that as well. So all this government, as I said, the developmental activities of the gross national happiness should be in line with the GNH policy that's already there. So this commission, basically, this department looks after all this relevant of the happiness. A very simple questions. Currently, we have 100 students with the law school. And then we have 14 undergrads, like postgraduate students who are doing their postgraduate studies in national law. So we have 114 students. Our maximum intake per cohort is 25. And then currently, we also have what to say summer schools that's taking place. That's the first graduate summer schools that's taking place. And then when I'm here, I think I was not able to meet. They just started a few days back. So I got a news saying like we have 18 international students who are pursuing currently a summer graduate school in Bhutan. So there are interesting questions on Bhutan's carbon. How is Bhutan's carbon? How is Bhutan carbon negative? As you all, when we say Bhutan is a carbon negative, not even carbon neutral, because we do not produce carbon. Because we produce more of what to say oxygen than what we basically what to say uh, basically release, because as I said, Bhutan's geographical environmental environment, if you think about it, country is covered by 72% of the country is covered by a forest, and you know what, so that's why we are negative. And then the government has a policies now coming up trying their best to emphasize on focusing on like even though the the pollution is very less in terms of Bhutan, like the vehicles are also very less in Bhutan. The population is less. I think that is one of the greatest. Being a small country with less population is also one of the great factors that's contributing towards being carbon negative, not only neutral. And now government is trying their best to promote more of e-vehicles than those what to say the fuel cars or so the environment itself is the 72% of the country is covered by forest. So that itself is making one of the Bhutan one big factor that's contributing towards Bhutan's carbon negative. So I think with this we come to the end of today's presentation. So I would like to thank each one of you for listening to me, and I this was such an opportunity for me to advocate a little bit on and about Bhutan, on and about the law school, and on about a little bit about Bhutan legal history to overall, although it's a vast topic, as I said earlier. So, but if you all are interested, I have my email shared with you all. So it'll be always, I'll be more than happy to always share with you all about what I know. So thank you so much once again, everyone, for this wonderful opportunity and listening to me. Thank you and Tashtilela.